can't. I can't imagine a better film having been released this year. I've never um, thought like the Frankenstein story was all that compelling.
Hmm.
I always enjoyed like Mel Brooks' Young Frankenstein
Young
more than like
Frankenstein is fantastic.
any other version of Frankenstein. I think Young Frankenstein's like the best version of
Hmm.
Frankenstein. This might top it. I think this is the
Yeah.
new best version of Frankenstein
I
so
would
far.
agree with that. It's excellent. I was also going to say the only other real like movie in I've had with Frankenstein was you ever seen Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman?
Oh, I we tried to watch that the a couple weeks ago
You
because
tried?
we've been on like a yeah because it was like really bad.
It is. Yeah. It's one of those ones like I remember it fondly, but I did try to also watch it again recently, and I'm just like, this is fucking atrocious. Like this writing is awful. Not even Kate
There was a
Beckinsale can
lot of
save this.
potential there. They asked the director from The Mummy.
Hmm.
You know, it's Universal Monsters, right? And they asked the director from The Mummy, and they're like, "Hey, we you did bang up job on The Mummy.
Can you do
What can you
this?
do for Dracula for us?" And he's like, "I will do everything for you. I will literally combine every story all at once and make it like this monsters universe, and people are gonna love it." And it's like there's simultaneously too much and too little going on
Yeah,
in
it's
that
like you
film.
have all of these different elements, but nothing actually gets that deep into it. So it's like all of these like
Yeah,
shallow concepts of Frankenstein and Dracula and like other Brothers Grimm
Dr.
tales.
Jekyll
Dr.
and Mr.
Jekyll.
Hyde. It's
Yeah.
like
Oh, so here's the
killed in the
thing.
first 5 minutes of the movie.
Killed in the first 5 minutes of the movie. My favorite portrayal of that, believe it or not, was the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
It what that people pass on that movie so easily, but
Yeah.
it is genuinely like I don't know if I just grew up with it being nostalgic about League of
Hmm.
Extraordinary Gentlemen, but because I saw it when I was a kid. But honestly, it was like I have a soft spot for it.
It does the same kind of thing. Like sometimes they're creepy people, other times they're just like urban legends or something like that. But you have oh my god, like, you just have so much going on. Like you also have oh my what I keep bouncing back and forth, but like yeah, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde for the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen was actually done really well, and they made him a very sympathetic character.
Yes.
And like yeah, but Frankenstein, yeah, like this movie, like I'm trying to think of any other movie. I pirated World Rebirth, and it was not great. That's like the
Mm.
only other movie I've seen come out this year. I think it came out this year, but like other than that, like Frankenstein so far is just it's great. Which I mean, it's Guillermo del Toro, and I watching this, I feel it. He wants to direct, like pick Hellboy back up and continue excuse me, where he left off after Hellboy 2 because like
Mm.
it might just be his unique style the way he does it, but I also get like all of these kind of Hellboy vibes from it, admittedly. And like I don't know, I think it's a strong case for him to get Hellboy back.
Well, okay. I mean, I'm assuming you've seen most of Del Toro's films, right?
Most of them. I haven't seen the one with the water creature, but I've seen Pan's Labyrinth. I've
Oh,
seen
The Shape
Hellboy
of
1,
Water.
Hellboy 2, Shape of Water. I haven't seen Shape of Water. What else did he do?
Uh, the first Pacific Rim.
Saw that. Yep. Oh my god, how could I fucking forget that? Of course I've seen Pacific Rim.
Yeah. Um, Pinocchio, the new animated like stop motion style Pinocchio.
I haven't seen that one. I heard it was good though. I mean, it's
And
Guillermo, so.
well, now that I've like been watching Frankenstein, I kind of want to go back and be like and watch this Pinocchio
Hmm.
because it's a really tired story to be real. Like everybody's seen like 5 different versions of it and like doesn't care. But now I'm like, oh, I bet it's really good. I bet like he does like it to the to the notch. Same thing. Like I think Del Toro's Frankenstein in time will be recognized as well as Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's
Dracula, yeah.
Dracula.
I would agree with
Yeah,
that. Yeah, they're definitely on the same level.
it's like it's very stylized, and it's not like not everybody gets it on the first try, and like frankly, parts of it are gross, which was true of Bram Stoker's Dracula back in the 90s, like especially back in the 90s. That was a very gross out,
Yeah, man.
extreme film. And then like, but this one, I will say, like, the gore is like
It's not...
beyond anything that would be considered for a mainstream film appreciation. Like, he's gonna get snubbed at the Oscars just because of how. But the thing is like, it is the only way to do Frankenstein, because it's literally about reassembling human bodies.
Exactly.
Into, a new thing, and like no other film has had the guts to do it that way and be like, hey, this is what this book's actually about. Like,
Yeah.
by the way, like, he's a Victorian surgeon who's dealing with fucking like absolute gore and horror.
But like, there's so many like just great actors in that too. Like, you have Christopher Waltz, who plays his like industrial counterpart. Oh man, like Mia Goth, of course, is great. Like, she's great in everything she does.
I mean, you've only got like 45 minutes into the movie. Like, you don't even.
Man, like,
you need to get there, man.
I'll get there, man. I'm edging.
You're edging it. Some certain movies, they're long enough that you just like, you like, honestly can make it into a multi-night like mini-series event. And I wish more movie theaters. I would go to the theater more often if they like actually had intermissions.
For
like,
real.
I don't want to sit through 3 hours of Dune Part 2 continuously
And not be able to get up to like go to the bathroom because I'm gonna miss a huge section.
I went to 2001: Space Odyssey in theaters, and they were showing it in fucking 70 millimeter original prints.
Very cool.
On film. It was so cool. And they left in the intermission because it is like
it's a long movie.
Film. And I was like, fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
You know, like half the theater like gets up and goes and pees, and like you go like get a soda or popcorn if you really want. But it's like, that is how films were supposed to be. Like, like real film, 90-minute film, I can deal with. It's
exactly. Yeah.
Most films can be 90 minutes. Most films are full of fillers. But when it comes to like a real adaptation of a book as a film,
please stretch it out. Give me the 2.5 hour movie. Do it, man. Like,
give me the 2.5 hour version. I don't know if somehow there's some way that the studio is still sitting on the 5-hour version that David Lynch made of Dune back in 1984. But I'm like, do you know how people would gobble that up nowadays? Like,
100%, especially posthumously. Like, all right, I'm going to kick the intro over because we've been movie nerding out, which has been fantastic, but I haven't done that yet. So let's kick it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Altar, episode 193, Open Sesame. Now, before we actually get back to probably discussing more movie stuff, I just want to point out that I did correctly predict last episode that, if not by the time we had this episode, by the end of this week, the government would reopen, because the Democrats no longer have to keep the government shut down in order to, boister up themselves for the fucking election. And here we are. I think Trump literally is like signed the bill this evening to reopen the government. So, you're welcome.
I mean, do you feel like Cassandra, or do you feel like, I don't know, another prophet or oracle that
I feel like
Pandora?
I feel
Pandora kind of one?
No, it depends on how you define oracle. Prophet, no, but like definitely a prominent Greek figure that had. So, I guess the best way I could describe it is I am like a random oracle of Delphi or something like that. Just walking through clouds of like gas escaping from the Earth and having visions. And the last vision I had was the government will reopen by the end of this week. And here we are. The gas, of course, being marijuana.
I'm just okay. Cassandra's curse was that she would have the gift of prophecy, but nobody would believe her.
I mean it's the same thing as being a conspiracy theorist. You have the gift of prophecy, but nobody believes you until it happens, and then they'll never admit that you were right. So,
Okay. So Homer Simpson asks, when are we going to get the client list that features Yimra? And who knows? Maybe that's the Diddy list.
maybe.
I'm not sure. Also, can you imagine if Diddy actually gets a pardon here in the next couple weeks?
Dude, 50 Cent will be personally out to get him if he does.
What does he have to lose?
Exactly.
You know what
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean? Saint Luke asks, I saw a news article about it yesterday and just laughed. I don't know if he's referring to the client list
Maybe.
or what we were talking about. Oh, the government reopening. Yeah, could be either. As far as government reopening goes, I will point out that our brave astrophysicists at the Space Weather Prediction Center have been working continuously through the government shutdown.
Good for them.
In order to predict the aurora.
Which I still have not been able to fucking see because it's overcast tonight, and I'm so butthurt.
No, it is overcast for most of the U.S. actually. And last night was awesome, but you didn't get out, or you had other stuff going on.
I worked late, so I figured I might be able to catch it, but it was also kind of hazy and overcast last night too. So it's every time there's a fucking aurora, it's overcast.
I feel like just for you being in a very populated, extended,
I need to go somewhere.
Metropolitan area. Yeah, you got to take the time to get out of town just a bit.
Which
even for me, I don't live somewhere that's light polluted. I did see it from my backyard. But I still took the time to drive 10, 15 minutes out of town to go see it more in detail and get good views.
I'm either gonna just have to dedicate an evening to that, which I can do, or
you can't. You don't know until the day of or the day before if it's going to be a good aurora, and then you're oh, is the weather going to match up with it?
Exactly, yeah.
Kind of keep track of it.
Also, I gotta not be working all day, and it's just hey, you want to go drive 30 minutes out of your way? I'm just I want to go home and be with my cat. Meh. But I'm sure one of these days I'll see it. The other thing, so I did want to mention celestial phenomenon in this podcast. There is actually something I've been meaning to ask you about, which maybe you know a little bit about it. What the fuck is that Atlas thing?
Oh, 3-Eye Atlas?
Yeah, what is that? Because I keep seeing stupid shit about it everywhere. About how it's changing.
People have ran with this so bad, and they have no idea what's going on, and they just love to repost sensationalist shit.
It's oh, it's aliens. It's shut up. But what is it? Do you know? Are you in the know?
Yeah, it's an interstellar comet.
Okay.
And it is weird because it's interstellar. It's not from our solar system, so it does things that normal comets don't do. But in the spectrum of things that a comet can do, it's
very normal.
Doing things that we would not necessarily anticipate, but are within the range of things that can occur within a normal comet. And so
the known unknowns.
We're talking about oh, it's outgassing methane and it's redirected its trajectory. It's well, yeah, if it's made out of primarily methane ice, and that outgassing as it goes around a star for the first time in its existence ever, because it's an interstellar comet, it's a piece of ice from deep space. It's never gone around a star before. It's going to have a very violent reaction to going around a star. It's going to break in half and outgas and then suddenly like change directions because it's never done something like this before. All the comets in our solar system are relatively tame because they go around every few thousand years at most. And so even over the course of like the history of the solar system, they've gone around dozens or even like the deepest spaced like Oort cloud comet that only comes by 1 million years at a time. Like it's still gone around like 1,000 times around the sun. All of the major like violent breakups that's and like redirects it's going to have already happened in that period of time. And so our comets are really predictable. They make a nice jet. They go around the sun. Now, occasionally, like they'll lose enough mass and outgas enough as they go around the sun, they'll break up. This is the cool thing about having the Solar Dynamics Observatory and the Solar Heliophysics Observatory. They weren't even set up for actually observing comets, but what they do is we can very clearly see close to the sun all these comets go by the sun and like break in half or get tidally ripped apart. And we didn't. I mean, it was happening the entire time. We just didn't see
Didn't
it
have the ability to observe it.
Yeah, the ability to observe it. It's always been happening. The idea actually that we've really only had the tech in Atlas, which is the telescope system to detect interstellar comets, for maybe 10 years. And then we find we're on our third interstellar comet in 10 years that we found. By the way, that's what 3I means.
Okay, 3I. Okay, yeah. Third interstellar.
Yeah. It means that it's a surprisingly common thing that we fly through interstellar space, and the sun is constantly moving through interstellar space in the galaxy's outer arms, and there's random throwaway comets from all sorts of star formations all over the place, and they're gonna come through. And speaking of nostalgic movies, did you ever see what was it called? They It was like a teen horror or a teen monster comedy. I think it was called Evolution.
Yes.
And the comet, this like comet lands in the desert, and it makes its own habitat, and then the organisms like rapidly
evolve. They go through like different stages of evolution
to the Earth environment, and are about to like conquer the Earth. And they have to use Head and Shoulders to kill all of them.
Because it has selenium or something.
Yeah. Selenium.
How did you guys know this? Haven't you noticed how shiny and flake-free our hair is? I watched that so many times when I was a kid. Oh my god.
The corporate tie-ins to a film were not absolute. It wasn't just like, oh man, I'm enjoying this Pepsi so much.
Yeah.
Like, as a random thing, it was like, hey, we need a way to kill the aliens. Let's reach out for a product that has some weird element in it that we wouldn't.
That's not poisonous to us, but you see, you look at this and you look at the periodic table and you go down and over, and arsenic is our poison. Well, these guys are, what were they, nitrogen-based life forms, so they went down and over, and like selenium, Let's get a shitload of Head and Shoulders and dump it into a fire truck and spray it up the alien's asshole.
That's a good movie.
It is a good movie. No, it's a great movie. Like, it's funny, too. Like, it's also David Duchovny, which is always great,
and Julianne Moore. And the guy from fucking like not Jackass, American Pie.
American Pie, yeah. Oh my god, he also was Country Mac in Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Sean William Scott.
Yes.
That's his name.
Yeah.
And Orlando Jones.
Yeah. Man, what happened to him? He must have retired. Yeah, probably. I mean, maybe he didn't want to have to do what you have to do to become a big star, so he's like, I'll just take my several mil and go.
Yeah, I got enough paydays.
I'm good. Yeah, I don't need that.
Ethan Suplee was in that too. The classic, like, just Ethan Suplee, like, very constant throughout that period of film
Mm-hmm.
and television and everything like that. And he persists. Like I think his podcast is like more popular than like any of his like film appearances are. Like
Hell
everybody
yeah.
knows of Ethan Suplee at this point, but he's got like a fitness podcast because he like became like a body lifter,
Mm-hmm.
or not body lifter, like a power lifter basically. So, anyways,
Yep.
shout out to Ethan Suplee for being um, a Chad. Anyways,
Absolutely.
okay, so yeah, the comet. It's as far as I'm concerned, as somebody who studied comets and this sort of phenomena, it's
Mm-hmm.
cool, but it is not.
It's not
It's
aliens.
not aliens. Now,
Oh.
it here's the gag that's going on. There's a research astrophysicist at Harvard called Avi Loeb.
Mm-hmm.
Called Avi Loeb. His name's Avi Loeb. And he is he's doing basically the same shtick that the marine biologist at Loch Ness does.
Hmm.
Do you know of this?
No, what's the shtick?
So the shtick for the marine biologist at Loch Ness is, hey guys, I'd really love if we had a complete sonar map of the entirety of Loch Ness and a complete database of every organism, like every large mammal or fish that might be living in Loch Ness. As a marine biologist, it's one of the largest and deepest lakes in Europe. That would be awesome. By the way, we might find a plesiosaur.
Maybe. It's
Maybe.
possible. It's highly improbable, but it is possible that if you go
Probably
deep,
not.
probably not. But if you go real deep, he might be there.
But by the way, guys, Nessie.
Nessie.
Okay, I'm doing a research study to see if there's Nessie there. And so like he does this every like 2 or 3 years. Like this marine biologist at like Edinburgh College or whatever is just like, hey, give me like a few $1 million to do research, and like I will use the most groundbreaking scientific equipment to look for Loch Ness monster, and that'll lead headlines and get a lot of publicity, and everybody will love it. And so this guy, that is his shtick, which is that he every time something happens, like Oumuamua, the first interstellar comet that came in, he's like, aliens, and he's like, we really need to build up our facilities to detect aliens. But it's also would be really nice to study interstellar comets and other
and other things,
transient objects,
because it will help us detect aliens.
And so like he's just always mentioning aliens, and or like that's what leads in all his headlines, but at the end of the day he's always just like, yeah, it's probably not, but like I'd really love the funding because everybody just just a graft.
They do the same thing with like, oh god, Bigfoot. I'm sure there are people who do the same thing with Bigfoot, maybe not to as much applause or attention. Like
people live on land, and so like the Bigfoot thing is just a little bit more looked down on. I think. Like space and the ocean, people
we don't live
there.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, Bigfoot, like, shit, brother. I'll just go in the woods myself and find them.
But yeah, we just have this. But the thing is about hominids and hominid biodiversity on the Earth is vastly understudied. And I think if you look into a lot of ancient stories, like they all have stories about giants and dwarves and elf-like creatures and stuff like that. What were they all talking about? Just like the same with dragons. Like, why does every culture have
dragons?
Some form of dragon, like giant feathered serpent that was flying around? And it's hilarious to me that we've come back full circle to from Jurassic Park. Everybody loved the original 93 Jurassic Park. where they have like the lizard dinosaurs, but then like now we're back to,
Birds.
hey, remember those medieval depictions of like a walking fire-breathing serpent with feathers all over it?
Well,
Turns out like that's what we think dinosaurs actually look like.
yeah. Speaking of
Super
dragons,
fucking ostrich.
my favorite play into dragons in like a modern setting, I feel like we've talked about this before. Reign of Fire. Fantastic movie.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh
I thought
my
it was done
goodness.
really well. I thought the dragons themselves, like, they don't get enough screen time, in my opinion. Like, the bull kind of does, but, like, that first dragon they deal with, for example, doesn't get enough screen time, in my opinion. Like, there's not enough of a horror element
Here's
there.
where I think that movie came in is that it was technically like a B tier movie at the
Yes.
time. Like
Yeah.
they didn't want to do a full effects budget for it. And of the effects budget that they had, they spent like 3/4 of it on fucking gasoline for explosions,
Yeah, man.
which are awesome.
They're awesome. The movie's fucking fantastic. Like, you got Christian Bale, you got Matthew McConaughey, like, it's just...
Honestly, would they ever do they star in any other films together?
Christian Bale and Matthew McConaughey? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I can't. Nothing comes to mind. But I also should mention, when I was younger, I played the shit out of the Reign of Fire video game for PS2. It was
What,
really...
they made a video game?
it kind of sucked. So basically, everything was like third-person vehicle stuff. So you had levels where you were like driving vehicles around, like you had a water truck, you'd put out fires. You'd have like a basic machine gun. You'd have different other vehicles and certain parts that were supposed to do certain things, like shoot nets at dragons. There's a lot more like dragon stuff going on. There's more dragons. There's also a couple where you're like flying an aircraft, like trying to like kill dragons in the sky. There's also, my favorite shit was they had a whole campaign where you played as the dragons. And you would fly dragons around and attack the humans, and it was so much fucking fun. Because the very last mission, you play the bull, and you attack the castle that's in the movie. But it's like way more decked out. It has like an airfield. It has tanks and like aircraft that try to stop you and all of this shit. And you can shoot fireballs, and like you also have like, I think like L2 is napalm or something like that. So you would be like projectiles, then you'd fly over something and you just torch it with your napalm, and it was so much fucking fun. Like there's a mission that used to frustrate the shit out of me as a child because like you had to attack this armored train, but you only had like a certain amount of time to do it. And it was just... It's one of those missions from like early video games where it's really difficult, mostly due to the technological limitations of video games at the time. Like if you were to remake it, it would be actually a lot easier. Like good example would be the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake that came out, Delta. I've played it. It's fantastic. Because it runs so smooth, it makes the game way shorter and way easier. It's also because I played the original Metal Gear Solid 3 probably like 100 times. But it's a lot smoother, it's easier. You have the option to use like not a fixed camera. So I feel like it's just one of those things. Like, but yeah, dude.
Oh, it's like not a top-down camera where like you walk into a different room and the angle.
You just have a fixed angle,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, and like the direction that you're pointing the joystick like suddenly has to like 100% go like the opposite direction or whatever. Because I remember playing like at some point like an early like Resident Evil or something like that had that.
That was really common. Resident Evil, Dino
like,
Crisis, Metal Gear Solid, they all did that.
Yeah, Dino Crisis, or maybe there was like a Turok game or something like that, or like Time Splitters, or not Time Splitters, Perfect Dark, like the first,
yes,
like the OG Perfect Dark was kind of like that maybe, where and like I think I got to a part in the game where like because of the way the camera angle was set up, like you had to immediately change the direction your joystick was moving. Otherwise, you would just walk back and forth between the two rooms immediately.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this just sucks. Like, people they don't know how to make a game.
I had that issue with when I was playing back when I still played stuff like Devil May Cry or Ninja Gaiden. The earlier games there too had that same kind of fixed camera scheme, and when you're in like literally like a power metal fighting
Oh,
video game where everything's super
Ninja
fast,
Gaiden.
dude, it's
Yeah,
so difficult when you get walked into a corner or like the boss fight just gets all janky because of the camera angle. Like when I was really young, I got so mad at Ninja Gaiden, I bit my Xbox controller. Like not to
yeah.
pieces, but like hard enough that like my teeth were imprinted in it, and I was just like, all right, now I have to play with a controller that has my teeth in it because I was an angry, irrational idiot. And I eventually did beat it. I
I
beat the game, but like, fuck, man.
Dude, I never beat Ninja Gaiden. I think I rented it like 3 times, and I was like,
It takes a while.
I have a lot of fun, but I also am like very upset.
Yeah, like that's
Like,
exactly
and
it. And like you get the gamer rage, and your parents are like, all right, well you have to not play or play something else because we're not just gonna let you yell at the TV. You're just like, fuck, okay, I'll just go back to
dude, I
Spider Man.
remember like Halo was fine,
Yeah, Halo was
even
fine.
though it was rated M.
Yeah.
Um, and that's because like it stuck to a true first person outside of the driving parts.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but it was so funny to me now that I'm remembering it, like what Xbox, I think it was an Xbox 2 game, Condemned. Do you remember
I
Condemned?
remember Condemned, yeah. So it came out on Xbox 360. It came out on the PS2 or the PS3, I think, too. There were two Condemned games. I played them both. They were both pretty scary for the time. Like, also, they had a very decent, like, they made the joke, like, half the game, you're just, like, fighting homeless people.
Yeah, no, you're just like killing homeless people with fucking rebar and concrete.
Yeah, and it's like, it was fun and it was creepy, but, like, yeah, dude. I feel like if you tried to come out with that game now, there'd be such like a pushback for just like, oh, this is just gratuitous violence against homeless people.
I just remember my dad getting us that game and being
Yeah.
like,
Uh,
"Hey, like he's like into Half-Life and
yeah.
stuff because he's an old school like
Mhm.
80s 90s gamer and like he's like, "Oh, I love Monolith Productions," which
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
totally
Yeah, it's just
familiar.
like, oh,
And he's like, he got us that game on Xbox 360 and he's like, "Guys, just don't play it when your mom's around."
yeah, exactly. That was
And
whenever
I was like, "Oh, okay."
oh my god. Do you want to know what I just had a flashback to? I think this would have been PS2 original Xbox. True Crime Streets of LA. There was also a True Crime Streets of New York. Do you ever play those? It was
No,
like
it sounds
reverse
familiar.
Grand Theft Auto where you played a cop, but you were just like an asshole cop. So you committed crimes, but you could also like frisk and arrest people, which was hilarious because like in the New York City one, you play like a black guy who's a detective, and you can just up to anybody in the street and just frisk them, and like half of them will have like a drug or copper contraband or something like that, and you just get like extra points. And I'm just like, this is really fun when I was a kid. Thinking back on it now, it's like, wow, that's really fucked up. Actually, also you're like a martial arts master, so like he'll sneak into places and they'll catch him in there without a warrant, and he just beats everyone's ass. It was great. It was fantastic. Oh, so many great games from back in the day that like. I'm
Well,
not saying I
that's
want a shitload of remaster. What were you gonna say?
well, I was gonna say, yeah, they got the Halo. Not it's not even a remaster. It's just like it's a campaign remake of the original Halo,
Mm-hmm.
which I played the original Halo on Xbox when it came out. That was the way that Halo came
Yeah.
out.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was the PC port of Halo
Mm-hmm.
that also came out. I didn't play that. And then there was like a Gearbox not was it Gearbox or was it Sierra Entertainment
Mm-hmm.
did a port or like a remaster. Not it it was after like Halo 3 came out, but it was
Mm-hmm.
before the Halo 2 anniversary came
Yep.
out.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously like the Halo 2 anniversary is like the most beautiful game that's ever come out.
Yeah.
Like the Halo 1 anniversary edition was like struggled a little
Mm-hmm.
bit. Like it lost some of the visual stuff. Like, and it to me, it's like, oh, Halo 2 anniversary probably does not need to be remade, but like the
No.
Halo 1,
Yeah.
like it shows its age when you play it. I'm a gamer of that era, so like I accept it for what it is, but I
Mm.
could totally see how if you got like your 14-year-old like nephew or like
These graphics
whatever.
suck. Their mouths
Well,
don't even move when they talk.
I I'm not even coming from it from a graphics perspective, like even just the some of the gameplay aspects and like the hitbox stuff and like the movement mapping
Mm.
and stuff like that. You're like, this was like we appreciate it for being groundbreaking during its time, but like
Mm.
having 3D surfaces that you walk over and you can point vertically up down was until like a few years ago, basically.
Hmm.
And then I replayed the Halo 1 campaign with a mouse and keyboard, and I was like, Legendary is like substantially easier than I remember
Yeah.
because I can actually aim
Hmm.
like really well. Like as people say like they like joysticks, the only reason you want a joystick in my opinion is for vehicle type stuff like when
I
you
was
need.
gonna say, like, I don't. When it comes to first person shooting or anything where you're walking around, I much prefer a mouse and keyboard. But, like in Grand Theft Auto 5, for example, or 4, I would constantly switch over to a controller to fly choppers or aircraft or, like, not drive necessarily, but for aircraft especially, I much prefer a joystick.
Oh, dude, that was my fault is that I did not have like a PC connected
Joystick?
controller for like Battlefield when you want to do like choppers or stuff like
Hmm.
that. Um,
I remember in Battlefield 2, it was a very basic, like $30. I don't know if it was Logitech, but it was just like a very basic joystick and stuff. And whenever I would fly, I would use the joystick in Battlefield 2, and it was like I remember there's a famous line they were talking about Battlefield developers. They were like, yeah, we significantly underestimated the skill of players and their ability to fly aircraft because you could
oh, you could do crazy
you could do
shit.
crazy shit. Like I don't remember the name of the dam, but there was a map in Battlefield 2 where there was a dam, and at the very bottom of the dam there was a tunnel that would go through the dam. And there were also like different gaps in the dam as well because it was under construction, and I would constantly fly through the dam because it was easy. You go at it and you tilt at the right angle, and like you go right through, and it's a really easy way to get a missile off of you. But like it was easy. It was also really easy. The helicopters were very easy to use, very intuitive. Like I would fly the helicopter through the tunnel at the bottom of the dam. Um, yeah, and oh, what was I gonna say? I will. Have you ever played a game called Rising Storm 2 Vietnam?
I have that game. I love that game. I stopped playing it because got fragged consistently while playing it. Like I don't know if there was this is it's one of those things where like modern FPSs like I'm not sure how much is people are cheating with aimbots and stuff like that
This is the
anymore.
problem with that game. Is like it. The community kind of died off a little bit, and then there was like definitely a cheating problem. The game was already janky enough that when that happened, it really killed the player base. Because I remember I was a fucking weapon when it came to flying the helicopters in that game. I had it fucking down, dude. I had to, when I started playing Battlefield 6 and I got into a helicopter, I had to unlearn everything I did in Rising Storm 2, like dumping the collective and doing all of that in a turn to get it around and making it work. I was really fucking good at it, and it's not as precise as in Battlefield 6, which is a little disappointing, but I also remember too just like the overt racism in the game that was just encouraged as like the meta. Like if you were a GI, you're just like saying the worst like anti-Asian shit, like within reason, but just like nuke the gooks, like all this shit. And if you were on the Vietnamese side, you're GI go home, white pig go home, rice safe, and it's just I have a video
No,
somewhere.
dude, your like player character like says that shit.
Yeah, man.
Well, like out of the blue, like while you're firing your gun, like you do a mag dump as like a Viet Cong.
It'll like say, yeah, they'll say shit. If you do the same thing as American, it'll be like, keep this, you fucking car. It's like, whoa. I mean, yeah, but whoa. And like, I remember too, I have a video somewhere. I hope I still have it. I've posted it to Tumblr. It was a match, and it was right around the time. Oh, God, it was probably like 2016, 2015, maybe around there. And
Mhm.
I remember like there was an argument between a bunch of the players on the American team about politics, and there was just one Feel the Burn kid in there who just kept arguing with everyone over voice chat, and I recorded it. It was just the dumbest thing because it's just like I'm trying to fly around and kill people. Everyone's shooting each other. No, man, you just see Bernie's actually just anti-establishment, like all this shit. And there's like a bunch of people shouting at him. It was for the time. It was just it fit in so well. because yeah, I don't know, just like having an argument about American politics while playing a game where you're either like you're basically either the Vietnamese committing war crimes or the Americans committing war crimes, and you're
There were
arguing
no
about
good guys in that
there
war.
were
It was
no good guys in that war. Like arguably maybe the Vietnamese a little bit because they're defending their homeland, but they're godless fucking commies, so no.
liberating your homeland means like literally killing all of your compatriots in the South and just like wantonly executing them and burning down their villages
I'm taking their shit.
en masse. And yeah, just um, yeah, I had a good time. So prior to Rising Storm 2
Mm-hmm.
was Rising Storm,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which was the Pacific theater of World War
Mm-hmm.
II, which is a fantastic game.
Also great.
Uh,
Also great.
and along with that Red Orchestra, right? Which
Oh
is
my
fun.
god, Red Orchestra, dude. Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
all of those games from Tripwire is, I
Mm-hmm.
believe, the publisher. Um, the very realistic gunplay
Mm-hmm.
just like hits with me. The thing I had going into Rising Storm 2 is that they are it the the American, particularly guns.
Mm-hmm.
You it felt like it was too hard to unlock the like actual American equipment
Mm-hmm.
because like it was only the first like 6 to 9 months of the war that we were using an M14, or the first 6 months of using the M16 that they had 20 round mags. Like from then on, they all had 30 round mags and stuff like that for the M16. And like I just playing particularly on the American side,
Mm-hmm.
even or actually what was fun was playing as the Australian faction. The handful of maps that you could play as a Aussie.
Mm-hmm.
You had that FAL, and it
Mm-hmm.
was so fun
Mm-hmm.
to have not only the FAL but also the full auto variant, or like the support gunner version of the FAL, because like the Aussies just had like their squad set up basically like a, hey, we are going to have a World War II squadron with like a support gunner and several riflemen, but it's all the same gun. Kind of like how the M14 was supposed to be,
Yeah.
but like it actually works a little bit better with the FAL. Um, anyways, I enjoyed the Aussie faction maps. I might re-download that. Um, the top tier for that though was when they came out with the plastic army men
Yes.
Christmas special, where you
Yes.
could like the maps were like a kid's bedroom with
Yes,
like
dude. I remember.
big,
So that was also a callback to the first Call of Duty ever and United Offensive. Their multiplayers. They had a lot of maps like that you would download, and essentially it was called like Mice in the Cupboard or something like that. But the map was just like a kitchen, and you would run around and like shelves and tables and shit. But it was like 64v64, or maybe not that, but it was like max. Like maybe it was 64 total, so 32v32. But you'd have 64 people running around in like a mock scale of like somebody's kitchen, and there would be all these cracks and crevices you could go into in the walls that would essentially take you up, and you'd be on a shelf with like the pots and pans. And there were other ones too where you were in like a kid's bedroom or something like that. But I love that too with the fucking army men. Like, oh, did you ever play the original like?
it lets you play as US versus US, so it's not asymmetrical warfare,
Yeah,
right? So
exactly. Yeah, you both have helicopters. Like,
yeah, but the other part of it was is that like yeah, it'd be like a Lego like castle setup, like a kid's
mm-hmm.
Christmas play, like a living room where like there's this elaborate Lego maze and like all these cool structures, like not something you'd never see in real life.
Exactly.
Um, it brings me back to like the original Halo 1 like maps. Like there would
Yeah.
be Halo 1 maps where like there were just like portal doors and like conveyor belts everywhere. Like I
Mm-hmm.
forget what that map was.
I
It's
remember
like
too.
it's
I
like the Pillar of Autumn split in half, but there's like portal doors everywhere, and then
mm-hmm.
like you've got to like figure out which portal's which to like sneak up on the person. And
I remember doing funky shit too in like Halo 3 The Forge, where you could like make maps and just do a bunch of shit like that. We should actually, there is one thing we should probably talk about tonight. It's not video game related, but I kind of started reading into it a little bit because the House Committee, Democratic House Committee, released some documents involving Epstein today. And it's actually like erupting all over social media and the mainstream news right now because there's a bunch of other people that are involved. Trump is named a little bit more in like frustratingly indirect ways. Like there's all of this stuff they talk about, and some of it like doesn't get graphic, but there's some emails they're talking about like referencing things or using code, and other ones they're just straight up like, yeah, can you send me a picture of you with those kids? Or something like that. It's just like, whoa. But Trump is mentioned a couple times. What's wild are the people who were in communication with Epstein and Maxwell. Like Steve Bannon was in regular communication with Epstein about Trump. There was a reporter for the New York Times, I believe, who reached out to Epstein and basically warned him about an investigation that was going on into him. And like, it's like it just started coming out, so I don't know what else is in here, but like I don't know. Like it Prince the Royal Prince Andrew I think was also named again about some different stuff. I was going through, Brad the Rambler Instagram page.
Not familiar.
Okay, he's like he posts conspiracy stuff all the time, but like he's a dude with like long hair and kind of a longish beard who usually wears like tinfoil and sunglasses, and he'll just post like random memes. But he was dumping some documents on his Instagram, and I was going through, and like the problem with these emails is, of course, a lot of them on purpose use like indirect or subtle language that doesn't actually come out and say, with very few exceptions, what's going on. So if you look this up right now, like if you look on, I don't know, the New York Times or something like that, and you look at the comments, you'll find a lot of people who think that Trump being named in the documents implements him and like what was going on and blah 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 blah, which it doesn't not do that. There's certainly some new questions that need to be asked. And then if you go over onto like certain other news outlets, like maybe Fox News comments or like Breitbart or something like that, like their Instagram page, or just looking at comments on articles there, people are like, all right, this actually matches up with what they were talking about, XYZ, about Trump being an informant or blah, 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 or kicking Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago or all this shit. And like, it's really hard to actually say either way. Because it could be he's compromised. It could be Epstein getting pissed off that Trump allegedly kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago or something. But like, I would, if you want to take the time to look through some of them, we don't have to do it now because, like I said, it's like just coming out. But it could be very interesting for next week's episode. Is all I have to say.
It could be. I mean, we've got like maybe 7-10 minutes here.
Ish, yeah. But I also didn't want to like. Didn't want to make anybody sus that we spent the entire episode talking about movies and video games and not an Epstein file release. So
I was not aware. So
that's fine. But like,
it was not on my radar at all.
So I'm just gonna actually. Can I put? No, I don't want to put my Instagram on streaming. Okay, so oh my God, there's so much. Ones I'm looking through right now. Let's see. Emails from Bannon allegedly asking Epstein if it's possible for Trump to remove Mnuchin and Powell, or if he's acting Epstein to get rid of them. Not sure. Something about, would you like a photo of Donald and girls in bikinis in my kitchen? God. This I can't give this shit justice right now, but like that's the shit that's currently coming out. So yeah.
Well, that on top of like the Fox interview that he gave with Ingram.
Yeah, where he's like, we have to bring in more people from outside because you don't have talent here or some shit like that. Dude, like, that's it right there. You just torpedoed your base, like, again. Like you're saying the quiet part out loud. Well, you're not saying some of the quiet part out loud. You're saying part of it. The other part is we have to bring in people from outside because they'll work more for less money. That's the problem.
Yeah.
They just don't want to pay
Well,
Americans actual wages.
yeah, it was just insane. Like I can totally see why. I mean, his numbers right now are
Abysmal.
lower than George Bush just after the fucking financial crisis
Yeah.
started really hitting. It's like generationally low right now, which you would think, based on the beginning of his presidency, that like he just had the gamut and could run with it.
Yeah.
And then like here we are, like
Just
9 months, 10 months in,
oh my god,
and
dude.
it's
Yeah,
like
that's the other thing. We still got another.
I don't see people like wear like MAGA hats anymore.
I occasionally do. It's usually very old people though. Or like
Okay,
they're
yeah,
people that
maybe.
like are like borderline like crazy, like yeah, they're wearing a MAGA hat, but based on their general demeanor and how they're dressed, it's like if you got into a scuffle with them, they might actually like produce like a shiv and like seriously get you. And like that would be it. Like that
They're wearing a photographer's vest and will produce a perfect in condition Vietnam era 1911.
exactly. And like
They have amber colored glasses.
you will absolutely like he will shoot you in the head. He's not even going to try to wound you. Like he's immediately just going to kill your CNS. And he can too because he practices a lot. It actually puts a strain on his marriage.
He will in fact chide you at the range for rapid fire, but
Yeah,
that's because he is putting a single hole through a single hole over there
exactly.
on the range, 1 minute at a time,
Like
every
he's
1 minute per shot.
exactly like it's just like, hey man, I think you're messing. No, I just keep hitting the same hole, and like he misses a little bit, and you see like a little like you're just like, oh shit. Oh man, but yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting for next week's episode. But this is the thing. So the House, they're going to release some stuff. I'm sure other. Oh, there were a couple other things I saw in there. One thing that actually made me doubt the entire thing was Epstein claiming that Bill Clinton's never visited his island or done anything, and it's like, that's not true though. That's like documented that happened. He had like a painting of him in Monica Lewinsky's dress in his palace on the island. Like, that's not the case. But there was something I did see interesting. Allegedly, Hillary Clinton had a sexual affair with Vince Foster, the man who was allegedly suicided by the Clintons. That's Epstein. One of these Epstein things talking about that, though. Which, like, it's not out of the realm of
I'm
plausibility.
curious to see like what their preponderance for this is, like how they posit, or like how this is proposed as being like factual at all. Like
Yeah, this is. I feel like
I,
we've
I,
talked about this earlier, where we were like,
Hill Dog, as she's known,
"Hill Dog."
Hill Dog, of all of the scandalous sexual relationships that she might have had, I feel like everybody always speculated about Huma Abedin. And
Specifically, that her
Mary,
and Huma were like participating in like sexual violent orgies with like children's faces.
well, even like preceding
Before that,
it's
yeah,
or like before you assume anything like that, I'm just saying like there was like this strong connotation that like she is lesbian with like her top aide, and that Huma Abedin is now married to the son of George Soros.
wasn't she married to Anthony Weiner for a bit?
Yes.
Yeah, and then that whole thing came out with like what he had on his laptop, and that also kind of spilled over into Hunter Biden a little bit. It's like it's all the same thing, man. Like Pizzagate and that.
Yeah. she was married to Anthony Weiner,
Yeah.
and then divorced 2025, married in 2025, Alexander Soros.
Ah. Who is now best friends with Mom Donnie. So
It's so weird how small the world
it's
is.
so incestuous, man. It's so fucking incestuous. But no, what I also want to. We've talked about this before because I went on a little rant about the Epstein files and how at this point it's such like. It's honestly such a poison. The well is so poisoned at this point. Like, how
Yeah, what
can
are
we.
we supposed to believe?
What are we supposed to believe?
At
Like,
this point, what difference does it make?
what difference does it make? Like, all this shit's maybe more worse shit'll come out about Trump. His most diehard supporters are not gonna stop defending him. If other shit comes out about the Clintons, or something comes out about Hunter Biden, or something comes out about, I don't know, AOC, or just literally anybody else on the left or the right, nobody's gonna change their fucking minds. Like, nothing's going to happen. It's just literally just going to become more fuel for arguing on social media. Like, people will be arguing, like, your favorite pedophile is a pedophile. No, your favorite politician is a pedophile. And they're just going to keep raising our taxes and lowering our quality of life. Like, that's that's it. That's what's going to happen. Because you're trapped in this stupid dichotomy where you have to vote for one or the other. Hey, I'm not really defending the libertarians here, but how many libertarians are in the fucking Epstein files? Gary Johnson maybe, but like I don't know outside of that.
Listen.
Also, allegedly, this is all alleged. Not saying anybody did anything. Like
the Venn diagram of libertarians who are incessantly arguing about sonic war and the age of consent and the Epstein client list is probably non-existent.
yeah,
There is no overlap.
there's no overlap. It's
No, the problem is that they might
It's-
aspirationally be so.
oh my god.
Um, I'm not actually worried about them personally being on the Epstein client list, which is like it's a great argument for just being like, you know what, just give me somebody whose name's never appeared on any co-sponsor of any law ever before.
Exactly.
Let's just get a refresh.
Speaking of politicians and co-sponsors and whatnot, I made a post about this during the government shutdown. There was a point, where they were voting to try to reopen, blah, blah, blah. Rand Paul was pretty consistently voting to keep the government closed, which I'm not going to say was bad. Excuse me. But they were advancing a bill at one point to withhold pay from members of Congress while the government was shut down. Mm-hmm. And Rand Paul voted to yes on that. And it's like...
no, I thought he specifically came in and said, hey, this is a violation of the whatever amendment that you can't modify a Congress member's pay in between terms.
Did he? I didn't catch that. If he did, that would explain. But let's pull that
up. Yeah, I specifically remember this being part of the thing.
Okay.
That he was like trying to point out about the reopening. I'm just going through his Twitter now. And Paul, Congress, hey. I mean, also Massey was talking about this.
Well, Massey has a more noble crusade, in my opinion.
See if I can't search his, because I thought I saw him post about this, but maybe I was hallucinating or I was thinking of Massey talking about this specific. There is a provision that you cannot cut Congress's pay as a result, or in midterm through Congress, because they wouldn't you can't hold it as leverage against a congressperson whether or not they're going to get paid or not to pass a bill.
Ah, okay.
Was the idea behind it. It's actually kind of a good provision.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
disagree with it. Okay, that makes more sense because I was just like, wow, this dude really like you vote to keep the government closed, but still vote to keep yourself paid. It's like, eh. But okay, now from a constitutionalist standpoint, I can accept that.
um,
You guys can't hear it, but somebody's got
the
the
27th
zoomies.
Amendment,
Oh,
yeah, here we go. Prevents changes to congressional pay from taking effect until after the next election for representatives. So
oh, okay.
if they pass the change, it can't take effect until after the next election.
I am
Um,
actually very okay with that.
yeah, I think it's I, if you could think of an amendment in the 20s that you're like happy with, like that's probably one of them.
Yeah.
What are the other fucking uh oh, it was actually originally proposed in the Bill of Rights, and
Oh, okay.
it didn't get passed until May 5th of 1992 for some reason. But yeah, it was originally proposed in the Bill of Rights. No law varying the pay of Congress shall take effect until after the elections have taken effect.
Yeah, that's fair.
Um, yeah, so it's the last amendment that actually passed, which is probably explains why people aren't aware of it, and why Trump would like try to like be like manipulating Congress with like, well, that Congress shouldn't get paid, and it's like that's kind of one of the things that has to happen.
Yeah, they Congress made it so that they have to get paid.
It's
Uh,
not even Congress made it happen. It's like the state legislatures all had to approve that too,
oh,
you
that's
know?
true. That's true. Yeah.
Um, Amendment 26 was national standardized minimum age of 18 for participation in state and federal elections.
Okay.
That was in 71. Amendment 25 was presidential succession.
Hmm.
It clarifies the vice president becomes president if president dies, resigns, or is removed by office via impeachment, and then the other, so there's vice presidential vacancy. Um, so yeah, it makes it clear that a new vice president can assume the office after it is appointed by the president, who was the former vice president, and gets confirmed by both houses of Congress. It used to be if the president died and the vice president became president, there just wasn't a vice president.
Really?
Yeah, there just didn't exist for until the next election. Um, President's declaration of inability: when the president pro tempore of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives writes has a written declaration that the president is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, and until he transmits them to a written declaration to the contrary, such powers and duties are discharged by the vice president as acting president. And so there's a lot of controversy about whether a lot of the Biden presidency was actually constitutional,
Hmm.
because we are pretty sure that Kamala Harris or somebody else was the acting president for the majority of that period of time.
Hmm.
Declaration of the vice president and the cabinet of the president's inability. So it, it, here's the thing. I don't know if there is a public record requirement to this. And I think that's the thing that there's controversy about right now is like, hey, was there ever a decision by, or, was it the case that the vice president actually took over as president at some point and, um, they just coasted along without actually saying so. Because I think so here's the thing. Vice President, majority of either principal officers of the executive department or of such other body as Congress may by law provide, transmit within 4 days to the President pro tempore of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives their written declaration. The President is unable to discharge their duties. Thereupon, Congress shall decide the issue, assembling within 48 hours that the purpose, if not in session. If the Congress within 21 days after receipt of the letter of written declaration, or if Congress is not in session within 21 days after Congress is required to assemble, determines by 2/3 vote of both the House and the houses that the President is unable to discharge the duties and powers of his office, the Vice President shall continue to discharge the same as acting President. Otherwise, the President shall resume the powers and duties of his office. Now, I think it would be extremely difficult to get everybody to be mum on having that vote. If they did have that vote and have it secretly, and Joe Biden was not actually president,
There's no way. There's no way they'd be able to like.
Yeah, that's where I'm at, and so I'm just like, I feel like they just did it and just didn't say so.
Yeah. Oh.
And that's what makes it like really heinously unconstitutional. Where it's like, you can just do things. That's what a lot of people are like coming at on Trump on this thing is like, you can just do things, right? Like you could bury these people.
Yep.
If you wanted to. Let's go back to the 24th Amendment for a second, unless you had something to say.
Oh, so adding into the Biden presidency, did you hear that they proved that the individual that planted the pipe bombs on January 6th with a DC Metro cop?
I don't know if they proved it because, like, it has to go to trial.
It's still got to go to trial, but they released evidence suggesting that was the case.
And it's like, we all fucking knew that.
Yeah. And then she's also like... She was also there during the protest in riot gear with like a pepper ball gun or some shit, and apparently was one of the first officers to start using it on the protesters.
Checks out.
Yeah.
It's all across the board. Just makes sense. Yep.
Oh, and hello, JC. Thank you for joining us in the extra portion of the podcast. You missed us a little bit this week, but yeah, go back to amendment. We have
more concurrent viewers now than we did like when
we started. Exactly, we've had 13 though. I mean, it's not really bad. Go back to 24, where we talked about the 24th Amendment.
Yeah, Amendment 24 is that the U.S. Constitution prohibits Congress and the states from requiring a payment of poll tax or any other tax to vote in federal elections.
And this is the reasoning why we can't have people show their ID when they vote, I guess. Poll tax.
Sure.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I always was of the argument of like, well, you need an ID to register to vote, right? Yeah. Why don't you have that ID? Like, I understand shit happens, but what?
I just don't know what the problem is with require. So the thing is, it's just not just like a poll tax, like on the day of the vote, you have to pay $20 to fund the election.
Yeah.
To happen, kind of thing. It's like you are a net taxpayer kind of thing, like, or like, hey, you are. They made it any kind of tax, like, oh, you've paid enough, or like, given a state might only have sales tax or whatever. Or property tax, like, hey, you are a property tax holder or you're a sales taxpayer or something like that. They made it blanket, like, hey, you don't have to be a taxpayer to vote, which is a little weird to me as far as how corporate law works for everything else, and so much as that all works. Okay, so that's the 24th Amendment. Let's go to the 23rd Amendment. By the way, that was passed in 62.
Okay.
So 71, 62. We have had a real drought of constitutional amendments. We used to get one at like once a decade, right? It looks like up
I mean,
until the 90s.
it's so polarized now. I mean, nobody can get the majority to do anything.
So 23rd Amendment to the United States was passed in 1960, so this is actually very close to the last one. Extends the right to participate in presidential elections to the District of Columbia. It grants district electors in the Electoral College as though it were a state. The district can never have more electors than the least populous state.
Fair.
All right. I guess. 22nd Amendment to the United States passed in 47. So we had a 13-year gap or so in amendments. The United States Constitution limits the number of times a person can be elected to the office of President of the United States to twice, and sets additionally eligibility conditions for presidents who succeeded the unexpired terms of their predecessors. So this was the FDR amendment. That You can't be president for life.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably okay.
Probably, yeah.
21st Amendment to the United States. You remember this one?
That undid prohibition?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
The 18th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution.
Which is the only amendment that has ever repealed another amendment.
Which mandated nationwide prohibition on alcohol. Signed December 5th of 1933. Why don't we have a national fucking holiday on December 5th?
Yeah, seriously. What the fuck, dude? That'd be right around my birthday. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Okay, the 20th Amendment. Oh, I didn't know about this one. This is weird. Do you have any guesses on what the 20th Amendment was?
No, I do not actually.
This it never occurred to me that this was a thing. It moved the beginning and ending of the terms of president and vice president from March 4th to January 3rd.
Wow. Okay. March 4th. Dude, that's that's like a business year.
It also provisions to determine what is done when there's no president-elect. 1933.
Okay. What happens if there is no president-elect? Does it say?
Yeah, I'm curious. Okay, so
what does that mean? There's nobody wins the vote?
The president is the terms of the president and vice president shall end at noon on the 20th day of January, and the terms of senators and representatives end at noon of the 3rd day of January of the years in which such terms would have ended if the article had not been ratified. The Congress shall assemble at least once in every year, and such meetings shall begin at noon on the 3rd day of January unless they shall by law appoint a different day. If at the time for fixed beginnings of the term of president, the president-elect shall have died. Okay, so if the president-elect dies in between the election and assuming office, the vice president shall become president. They just wanted to clarify that.
Okay.
If president shall not have been chosen by the time fixed at the beginning of the term, or the president-elect shall fail to qualify, like they find out he's not born in America or something, not 35, then the vice president shall act as president until president shall have been qualified. The Congress may by law provide for a case where neither a president nor a vice president-elect shall be qualified to play. Okay, so this is all procedural stuff about whatever. Presidential secession. All right, 19th Amendment. This is a famous one. Most people
give women the right to vote.
Yes. Yeah. Cannot be abridged on the basis of sex.
Mistake. Kidding.
18th Amendment. We just visited the 22nd Amendment. This is the Prohibition. Amendment.
Yep.
What's the 17th? Oh, direct election of senators instead of state legislatures appointing them. 16th Amendment, direct taxation. so income tax. 15th Amendment, federal government from cannot abridge right to vote on account of race, color, or conditions of servitude. 14th Amendment, um, what's the quick way? All persons naturalized, born or naturalized in the United States, born or naturalized in the United States, and subject to the jurisdiction thereof.
Hmm.
Kind of important part of the
Hmm.
amendment.
Hmm.
Are citizens of the United States and the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the rights of citizens or immunities of citizens within the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the law. Within the jurisdiction of.
Within the jurisdiction of.
Means they are
Legally present in the country. Legally. Under the jurisdiction means legally.
13th Amendment, emancipation of slavery.
Mistake. Kidding!
I was thinking of a post on Tumblr where it was basically like essentially whatever if the United States still exists in like 30 years based on how Zoomer kids are, there will be a constitutional amendment to remove personhood based on like human subspecies, basically. That is what's going to happen.
Racial science will be constitutional law again.
12th Amendment was procedures for electing president and vice president. Okay, it clarified that you had to elect the president and the vice president on the same ticket.
Mm-hmm.
The 11th Amendment was adopted to overrule the Supreme Court's decision in Chisholm versus Georgia. In that case, the court held that states did not enjoy sovereign immunity from suits made by citizens of other states in federal court. The 11th Amendment established that federal courts do not have authority to hear cases brought by private parties against the state from which they are not citizens.
Okay. I mean, sure. So, like, I can't sue Nevada for shit because I don't live in Nevada.
Congress can abrogate state sovereign immunity when using its authority under Section 5 of the 14th Amendment, according to more recent cases.
Okay.
Other cases have identified further exceptions to the general sovereign immunity of states when Congress acts pursuant to Article 1 powers, which have alternately been referred to as waivers in the plan of the convention. So, interesting turn of phrase. The Supreme Court has also held that federal courts can enjoin state officials from violating federal law. Now, does that hold the course that state officials can enjoin federal officers from enforcing federal law?
I don't think so.
Who knows?
10th Amendment. We should all know that.
Oh, I wasn't going to go through the Bill of Rights.
Oh, that's fair.
As libertarians, we should all know what the Bill of Rights is.
Exactly, yeah. If you're watching this podcast and you don't know the first 10 amendments, you should go do that now. It's very crucial.
Yeah. Although I will say the last, 7 are pretty unknown, even if you're, somebody who knows Bill of Rights stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the last 4, 6th Amendment, off the top of your head, do you know what the 6th Amendment does?
Right to speedy trial?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, specifically a speedy and public trial
Speedy and
by
public
an
trial
impartial jury
by an impartial
consisting of
jury.
jurors from the state and the district in which the crime was alleged to have been committed.
And then the 7th is that cruel and unusual punishment, or is that the 8th?
It is the right to a jury trial.
The right to a jury trial in civil cases. The 8th Amendment is the right to be free from cruel and unusual punishment. The 9th and 10th Amendments are almost, I think they're kind of the same thing. Like the 10th is like
They're
any
like
power.
little catch-alls, basically. So the 9th Amendment is the catch-all for individuals, and the 10th Amendment is a catch-all for
states. Yeah.
So the 9th Amendment says any rights that are not explicitly in the United States Constitution are retained by people in so yeah, just because it's not specifically listed in the Bill of Rights doesn't mean that right doesn't exist.
Yes.
It's just a catch-all.
And then the 10th is any power not specifically enlisted in the Constitution that the states have does not mean states do not have that power.
It's even more explicit than that. It says that if the federal government wasn't explicitly granted a power, a state reserves that power.
Thank you. Yes, I said that completely wrong.
So it's not even that. If this. I don't even know how you just phrased it right now, but
wrong. I phrased it wrong. Like looking back on it, it's like it could not have been any more wrong. It's literally it would completely undo the point of the Constitution. Anything that is not specifically listed that the state can do does not mean the state can't do it. It would be like, what's the fucking point? No, I should actually be. I should probably be beaten for that one. Like, we'll let it go.
No. Only the things that the federal government has been told it can do is it's supposed to do.
Yes.
And the states have any legislative ability beyond that.
Exactly. Exactly. Oops.
Yeah, that makes way more sense.
Yeah, not. Oh man.
We're supposed to have a little federalism around these parts here.
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. Is there anything else maybe you want to go over? Because this is one of the longest episodes we've done in a minute. It's an hour and a half.
Yeah, I mean, we'll revisit the Epstein stuff
for sure. That'll definitely.
Get to it.
This is going to be some interesting. It's going to be interesting, I think, or it's going to be like nothing in 3 days. Like who knows? Nothing ever happens, I guess.
Indeed.
Yeah. Well, excuse me. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for joining us for this very kind of random and off-topic episode. But again, I was right. The government reopened just in time. Thank you all for tuning in, of course. Thank you. Stay safe out there. Stay wild. And as always, taxation is theft.